Western Cape I've been, Northwest I've been, Free State I've been, but not like, I just feel like you pass through, you're not experiencing the provinces. See the hidden gems, so to speak, of those provinces.
Yes, because there are so many hidden gems out there. Well, Tembisile Siso, thank you so much for joining us for the chat.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
I want to hear from you now. 011-883-0702. We spoke about the issue of affordability and how it needs to be looked at, because I know you and I, when we talk about traveling in South Africa or on the continent, we often talk about the issue of affordability. I mean, there are people who have said that they've tried to go to, that's like West Africa, for instance, but eventually they ended up going to Bangkok in Thailand. Or Istanbul in Turkey, because the pricing model here on the continent for local travel is just not working. Well, what are your thoughts on affordability? Have you found some hidden gems that are quite affordable? Or do you think that we're still dealing with a continent here that's still almost has curated experiences for people that are coming here with euros, that are coming here with dollars? But I also want to know where you've been on the continent. Are you the type of person that loves traveling on the African continent? What's working? What's not working? 011-883-0702. Let's talk. There are some of your WhatsApp voice notes coming through on 072-702-1702.
Hi, Clement. It's Comfort. I've been to a number of countries in Africa, including Kinshasa, Burundi, Tanzania, Ethiopia, but my two favorite countries that I enjoyed traveling to was Ethiopia. I mean, Ethiopia, they got the best coffee. Even when you go to Burundi, they still have the best coffee. And Kinshasa, obviously, the nightlife there, it's way out of this world. If you are a South African and you go into the clubs, you would see the DJ changing the playlist, playing something that would remind you of home, like your Brenda Fassie and etc. Thanks.
Oh, that's amazing. Apparently, Lagos is one that is going to give you, and Ghana, the beautiful, most best nightlife. Where have you experienced the best nightlife on the continent for those who love parties and some fun at night? Send us a WhatsApp or give us a call. Roger Foster is the CEO, Managing Director of Airlink, who joins us now. Roger, thanks for making time. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement, and good morning to your visitors. It's a privilege to be here with you, looking at you eyeball to eyeball.
Eyeball to eyeball. And there are lots of people here with different experiences that are curated. Just as an airline, we were talking earlier about what needs to be fixed on the continent, and Tembisile from SA Tourism was saying, you know, we need to start talking about just the infrastructure on the continent, you know, airlines, the pricing model. From your perspective, what do you think is not working, and what do you think is working in traveling the continent from an airline's perspective?
Well, the continent is vast. It's a big piece of real estate. There's about 1.4 billion people. There are 55 countries within the continent. I think that in itself becomes one of the big challenges about delivering air access. What we have done is concentrated on the sub-region, and we've become prominent in connecting points within the sub-region to key nodes in South Africa, Johannesburg and Cape Town in particular, but Durban is emerging also as one of the key nodes within the sub-region. So whereas the continent is the domain, one has to think about sub-domains to that. And, you know, baby steps. We are walking within the sub-region, and at a later point in time when we can run through the sub-region, then we can start spreading our wings a little bit further afield within the continent. But already we're operating to 45 destinations, over 60 routes within the sub-region of Southern Africa. And we offer 85,000 flights per year. We have a staff complement of 2,750 and more than 60 airplanes in the fleet, which is something for a private sector business domiciled here in South Africa that we're very, very proud of.
Yeah, so one of the things people will come to Airlink for is when they need like that kind of, so if they're landing in Durban, you know, international tourists and they want to get to Johannesburg, they can use your airline. Or if they're landing in Johannesburg, whatever the case is in the sub-region, what is the plan then to just broaden to the African footprint, and what are the timelines? What timelines sort of are you looking at? Are you looking at like 5-year, 10-year period? And are you seeing that there's like a market there for you to start expanding?
There is, and you know, one of the big considerations with international air travel and observations about air access throughout Africa is that, you know, the African population represents almost 20% of the global population, but air travel in Africa represents less than 2% of global air travel. And that is a disconnect. One has to think about, you know, you've got all these markets. You know, I heard one of your previous listeners talking about the nightlife in Kinshasa. Well, there are lots of other spots in Africa where people in Africa would wish to traverse within Africa. But there's also the issue of, you know, tourism, and this is why we're here at the Indaba. Tourism is about tourists coming from all over the world to visit tourist destinations in South Africa and Southern Africa. And what we've been very conscious of is where those tourists come from in the world, how they get here. They get here on international airlines, all the big names, the British Airways, the Lufthansas, the Emirates, the Qatars, and so on and so forth, the Delta from North America, United, and so on. So what we've done is we've forged relationships with 36 of those airlines, and we've got now commercial partnerships with 36 of them. So firstly, we need to access customers coming from the source markets to bring them into our nodes, Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, for example, and then take them from the nodes to the tourism hotspots here, like the game reserve, the Kruger Park, the private game lodges around the Hoedspruit area, the Skukuza area, and so on. And also connect them to other tourist hotspots within the sub-region, not just within South Africa. So Botswana, Okavango Swamps in Maun, the Chobe River, Kasane, the Victoria Falls, places like Villankhulos, In Mozambique, Maputo is a tourist hotspot as well. So that's kind of what we've been doing, and we've been doing it for a long time. You know, I've been sitting in the seat as the CEO of that business now for over 32 years.
My goodness.
So, you know, I agree. It is, my goodness, what are you doing there for so long?
No, but it's also great because you're doing something right. I mean, look at how Airlink has been growing over the years. So we've spoken then about the need to improve that air access. When you are in an environment like this where different stakeholders are here, they can curate these travel experiences. How does that help your company like Airlink when you are interfacing with the safaris, with these international airlines as well? How does it help in creating those partnerships and also saying, here's how we can help connect you in this sub-region and in some other parts, even outside of South Africa?
So we see air access as being key. You know, if you can't get there, what's the point of having a hospitality infrastructure? So the two are twinned together. We work very, very closely, hand in glove as it were. So the reason why we're here and the reason why we've been here at Indaba for so many years consecutively, I mean, obviously there was the interruption through COVID in that era, is because the relationship between air access and hospitality is absolute. The one works in conjunction with the other. And again, I go back to the point about hospitality, concentrations of hospitality epicenters, like Boksburg, for example, or Skukuza, or Okavango Swamps. Now, without air access, there's no point in having the hospitality infrastructure. And if you have air access, then you need to have the hospitality infrastructure. So the two work together. And that's the reason why we're here. We interact with our partners who are the hospitality sector, the providers of safaris, tours, all of the lodge operators, all of the high-end hospitality operators, the hotels, the casinos, etc. That's why we're here.
Roger Foster, thank you so much for making time for us, CEO at Airlink, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Clement, and I wish your listeners a marvelous day. Thank you.
Thank you. It's just after 10:30. Let's get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Fiso, good morning.
Thanks, Clements. Good morning. The Durban Magistrates Court is delivering judgment in the bail application of the 5 men accused of killing rapper Kinan aka Forbes and celebrity chef Tibelo Tips Motswane. The group has been behind bars since they were arrested in February this year. They have, for the past few months, been trying to secure bail. However, the state is opposing their requests. The Hospital Association of South Africa says the version of the NHI bill that will be signed into law will hamper access to quality healthcare. President Cyril Ramaphosa is set to sign the bill at the Union Buildings this afternoon. The NHI is aimed at providing universal healthcare for all South Africans. However, many organizations have raised concern over the bill in its current form. And the Sports Department says it is hopeful that the Grand Chamber of the European Court of Human Rights will rule in double Olympic champion Caster Semenya's favor. Semenya will today present her arguments in France in the case against World Athletics regulations requiring her to take medication to lower her testosterone levels. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Fairland Roodepoort is still dealing with that accident seen on the N1 South 14th Avenue, causing some delays. Kempton Park also roadworks causing more than a 30-minute delay on the R21 northbound. That's between Pomona and the R23 Benoni off-ramp. Heading into Bedford View, there's an accident scene on the R24 westbound. This is before the Kilulis interchange, causing huge delays all the way from Edenvale Road. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Bryanston and Winnie Mandela Drive and Sloan, as well as in the Pretoria CBD and Old Joburg Road.